Hello. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I'm live everywhere. Wow, my hair looks really gray today, doesn't it? I guess it depends on how the light hits it, right? It's really bright today. It's not like super sunny, but it's so bright. Welcome. I'm just going to wait a few minutes to see who pops on. Coming on today, talking about making your dreams a priority. And some people might think they already do this. Some people might say they don't have time to do this. And today I'm going to talk about how you can figure out if you're spending any time prioritizing, your time spending that on your dreams and your goals. And just a quick little way to get started, right? So we won't be on here too long. I just wanted to be kind of quick and efficient about it. So what time is it? 1 o'clock. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't early. I was waiting to come on because I was finished up my other work. So today I'm kind of taking a day to just like chill out. So I'm doing this and then not much more work after this. I'm looking forward to relaxing and maybe doing some yoga. And that's about it. And maybe making a nice meal and enjoying that. So today we're talking about making your dreams a priority. And one of the I'm just going to get right into it. A lot of us don't spend a lot of our times on the fun stuff, the dreams and the goals. We're so busy doing, and it's really hard to break out of this because this is kind of almost like what we're programmed to do in life. I just want to make sure my watch is not going to make any noises. So this watch is new and I don't know how to work it. So I'm going to apologize if my watch starts making noise. I think I have it on silent. So anyway, we're always doing. It's really hard for us to hop off the hamster wheel and just like stand still for a second and really become more intentional or become aware of how we're spending our time, right? And so that's one of the things that I'm encouraging you to do this week. So every week, I'm sorry, I do a self-care challenge. And so at the beginning of the week, I asked you that question, and so this is me kind of expanding on that and letting you know how you can really start to prioritize your time to focus on the things that you love, your goals and your dreams, okay? But a lot of us are really programmed to work all the time. And a lot of us hold our self-worth on how much work we do or how much money we do, how much we're achieving. And so a lot of us, we just work ourselves to death. And we can all agree, though, we've all heard this before, we can all agree that when we get to the end of our lives, we're not going to be all jazzed up about saying, oh, I wish I would have worked more, or I wish I would have like sat in front of my computer more, or I wish I would have scrolled on TikTok more, or whatever it might be for you, right? So it's more about being very intentional, which is so hard to do nowadays because there's so many distractions. And so the way that I want you to start to become aware and of how you're spending your time is to look at all the different areas of your life. So you're going to look at, like, say, your health, your fitness, your relationships, your self care, your self improvement, your spirituality, maybe your social life, whatever it might be, just whatever the areas that are important to you, maybe your home environment. You're going to look at those areas and then you're going to have to spend some time and decide what's important to you. What are your priorities? So, like, let's use health as an example. So, what is your priority with your health? What is your goal? What is your dream? What if you could have anything that you would be possible? If anything was possible, what would you have in that one area of your life? Would it be to be at a certain fitness level? Would it be able to like run a marathon? Would it be to lose weight? Would it be to just improve your health? Maybe you have some health issues. So write down, like, this is a journaling exercise for sure. Like, it's so much more powerful if you write this down, and then you can reflect back at it also, right? So write down what's important to you in all these different areas. And then you're going to go back and you're going to look at a day in your life. Okay. This is such a simple exercise. It takes a little bit of time, but it's so simple and it's really kind of like a wake up call, right? So you're going to take a day of your life, make sure it's like a weekday. Hey, Bella, how are you? So make sure it's like a weekday and look at how you're spending your time throughout that day. I want you to write it out in the same journaling page that you wrote the first things out. So first you're going to write out all the things that are priorities to you in all the different areas of your life. If you want to start off with one area, you could do this, right? And then the second thing is to just do a little study, like a little self-study, and keep a little journal. If you don't want to write down in a book, you could always write it in your notes app in your phone. You could also text it to yourself. I do that all the time. So you're keeping track of something, you could just like text it to yourself and say, from 1 to 2 o'clock, I went to a yoga class or whatever. So look at how you're spending your time on a typical day. If you really want to get into it, you could really start to look at a couple of days in a row, because we all know that every day is not the same. So like, it would be ideal for you to look at a couple of days. But if you want to do this really quick and get it done quick, just do one day. And then lastly, you're going to look and see if any of the stuff that you're spending your time on during the day really focuses on your priorities in all the areas of your life, right? So if you look at it and you say, I'm not doing anything that is focusing on my priorities. Like, so say, let's go back to the health example. So if you're not doing anything to improve your health, right? You're dreaming about this, you want this, you want to be physically fit. Let's just use the marathon as an example. So you want to run a marathon, but you haven't done anything. You're just like dreaming about it. You haven't picked one out. You haven't found someone to help you train. You haven't found a training program. You haven't started improving your diet. You haven't started doing anything. You just want to run a marathon, right? But you're not prioritizing it because you're not spending any time moving forward in that area. Okay, so if you're not spending any time, or maybe you look at your time and say, okay, well, maybe I spend 5% of my time working towards my dreams and my goals. I don't think personally that's not enough, right? So you might say, Tina, I don't have any time. I'm too busy. I work all the time. I do this, I do that. It's a matter of making small shifts. So what happens when you start to make small shifts is when you have success with those small shifts. So what's a small shift towards the marathon goal? So a small shift would be in that one area would be, I'm going to pick a marathon. Okay, so I'm going to go 6 months in advance, or you figure out how much time you think you need to train. You might want to look that up, right? And you go in advance and you look for a race that you want to do and you pick that race. So it's one small shift, right? So you take that one small shift, and what happens when you make these small shifts and then you have little successes over and over again, not only do you gain confidence, but you start paying attention to other things in your life, and you start meeting people and new opportunities come up, and slowly more of your time starts shifting over into that one subject. Right? So instead of not focusing on, the marathon at all, right? So that's just an example that I'm using as your one area, one goal, and one shift that you want to make. Instead of just dreaming about it, you've already shifted. You picked, a time of the year you want to do it. You picked a marathon, and now you're like excited, right? You're like, maybe you're going to travel to a destination marathon, and now you're excited, and now you're going to find a training program. So what happens when you have success after success, and then you join the training program? That's when you meet people, right? So then you're going to meet more people. Maybe you'll get involved. Maybe you'll learn about how they've trained before. Maybe they've already run a marathon, so they can share their experience with you. And so what this does is it slowly shifts your life in that direction. So you might not even realize that you are spending more time on that one dream goal, right? So you're starting to prioritize your time differently just by making these small shifts. And when you make small shift over and over, and you have successes, you gain confidence, you start to gain momentum, and slowly your life changes. So when you say, Tina, I don't have time for that, yeah, I understand that. I completely understand that, and I've been there. But if you don't make any changes at all, then nothing will ever change, right? So making those small shifts. So I'm like a huge believer in baby steps. And it's like compound interest in your credit cards. You make these small shifts and they compound over time, they build momentum, and they create these big changes in your life. So all you have to do today is go through the exercises. Like if you just joined me and you didn't hear me from the beginning, watch from the beginning, because it's super simple to do. And all you have to do, so the goal for today is that you just have to do one small shift in one area, right? It's not about changing your whole life all overnight and like making some kind of quantum jump that's going, it's not about stressing yourself out. It's not about getting overwhelmed. As soon as you step into overwhelm, you freeze because you're like, I can't do this, right? I can't picture how I'm going to get from point A to point B. So I freeze. I can't do anything at all. But if you could say to yourself, I could make this small shift, and you can visualize yourself doing that, and then you have success with that, that's how you move forward. Okay. So the last thing I want to emphasize before I hop off is that you need to track this and you need to pay attention to it. Because as I said earlier, we're all busy. We're all doing all these things. We're all doing. And a lot of us are expected to do these things. A lot of us have to do a lot of these things, right? So it's so hard for us to make these shifts. So it's a matter, in order to be efficient about it and be able to have success with it, you're going to have to track it. So my suggestion is always a journal, right? And if you're not a writing in a paper journal type of person, then I would suggest that you do it on your phone in the Notes app, right? I really love the whole idea of texting yourself, because you can have these full-on conversations with yourself, which sounds a little nutty, right? But you could say to yourself, like, this is my goal, this is the shift I'm going to make today, and you can commit to one shift a day, you can commit to one shift a week, you can commit to one shift a month. Whatever it is you are going to commit to, you're going to either put it in your phone, you could put it as a reminder, but you have to keep track of it. You have to have a plan, otherwise you won't move forward. So the most important part is to to track it somehow. So reminder in your phone, the Notes app on your phone, texting yourself on your phone. But whatever you're going to use what works for you. So if you're not a phone person and you are a journal person, use your journal. If you're not a text person, don't use that. If you're an email person, maybe send yourself an email saying, this is my shift for the week. And when you do it, celebrate. That's the last step. I thought the tracking was the last step, but definitely celebrate it, because as soon as you celebrate those wins, it kind of like triggers your brain. You want to do it again. You want to do more. As soon as you have that success, celebrate. Even if you just need to just do a little dance in your living room, whatever it is that you want to do, always celebrate your little wins. Always pay attention to those small wins, because they matter. So like if you look back on your life in a year, you might look at some of those wins and be like, wow, look how much I changed. But when you look back to a day or maybe a week ahead, and you look back at the one win that you had, maybe the marathon, you just picked a marathon that you were going to do. You don't look at it as a big deal, right? And you're not going to usually celebrate it. So you have to be really intentional about this, because it's not something we would normally celebrate. Normally we would wait until we ran the marathon and then we would celebrate. You need to celebrate all the little steps along the way to help build your confidence and to help build that momentum. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about today. So this is just a really quick way that you could start prioritizing the time that you spend on your dreams and your goals, instead of just working and doing all the crap that none of us want to do, right? None of us want to do any of this crap. So start making those shifts. Help yourself build momentum to shift your whole life into a new direction. If you want to go deeper on this subject, there's two ways that you could do this. The first way is I have a masterclass series that's going to go on throughout the year. It's the 2023 Soul Aligned Self-Care Masterclass series. These are all free masterclasses. All you have to do is sign up once and you get access to the masterclass for around 48 hours when it's released. Then it's going to be for sale on my website. But if you sign up for it, you'll get access to it for 2 whole days for free. Okay, so you could sign up for these masterclasses. I already did one that was in February. The next one is at the end of April, and I'm going to be doing it on core values. So this is really all about the first step that I talked about today. It's really like figuring out exactly what you want in these areas, and I have all these different questions to ask yourself to really dig deep and figure out what you really want. And so if you want to do the core values workshop with me for free, you could sign up for that. So the link for that will be in the bio. If you're watching me on Facebook, I'll put it in the comments. The second way that you could go deeper on this subject is you could sign up for a self-care reset, where I do the same thing. I do an assessment of all the different areas of your life and how things are now. You decide how you want things to be, and we write out your core value statements together, and then we work out a plan together so you can move forward. All right, so that also, the link is also in my bio. If you're watching me on Instagram and on Facebook, I'll put the link below. So those are two really easy ways that you can go deeper into the subject. But if you do those 3 steps, you could really get started and start shifting your life into the direction that you want to go, spending more time on the fun stuff, on the goals and the dreams. And one of the questions that I always get within some of my groups, because I'm a self-care coach, is what does this have to do with self-care? Isn't this like goal setting or whatever? And the way I think of it is when you're taking care of yourself at the deepest level, you're supporting yourself at the deepest level. And this is a very, very loving way that you can support yourself. You're supporting your dreams, you're supporting the things that you want in your life. And so this is deep level self-care. I'm not talking about surface level self-care like getting your nails done or a massage, which are all extremely powerful and needed, right? This is deeper level self-care. This is about supporting yourself on the deepest level. So you want to be able to enjoy your time, spend your time in joy, and enjoying and working towards your goals and your dreams. So this is really important to us. The more time we spend there, the more fun that we're going to have. So this is like the deepest level of self-care as far as I'm concerned. All right, so go through the steps that I talked about. And if you want to go deeper on the subject, you could check out those free master classes with the link in the bio. I will see you next week on Facebook, definitely. And I will try to go live here too on Instagram. Love you guys. Bye. Okay. Gonna just talk for one more moment on here on in this Soul Line Self-Care Facebook group. I just wanted to add that if you know anybody that would really benefit from the group, please share it with them. I'm going to start trying to build this group. I wasn't sure if I wanted to build this group. I have like mixed feelings about spending time on Facebook. But right now I really enjoy the people that I meet on here. So I really do have more positive experiences than I do negative. And I wasn't going to be coming live here anymore, but I think I'm going to keep coming live here. I was going to focus more on the YouTube, but I realized that when I go live here, and I can still put it on YouTube, and I could put it in both places. So if you do not want to be on Facebook, these videos will also always be on YouTube. But I am still going to continue to be here in the group. And like I said, if you know anyone that will benefit from the lives I do in here, and anything that I share in here, then please share the group with them. And if you have any topics that you would like me to cover, please message me. Just send me a private message, and I would love to hear what other topics that you would like me to cover on here. Okay, guys, I will see you next week. Bye.